for those parts would be required in the manufacturing the final product. Material requirement planning is a set of techniques that takes the master production schedule and other informations from the inventory records, and products are to be structured recorded as the inputs of the determine the requirement and the schedule time of each of them. Because we know there exists and sort of the due dates are there. On the basis of the due date, you have to try to manufacturing the product. And inside the production, that is the what is the meaning of the master production schedule? You have to know how much you are going to be produced. And let's say per quarter, if the, let's say you are manufacturing the 100 units of output, I mean that the 4 quarters are there. In fourth quarter, each and every quarter, you have to manufacture the 25 units of it. So that means you have to know from the forecasting demand what is the amount of the final product that you are going to be manufactured, and on the basis of that, how much spare parts, how much parts of all the products it to be required, which you to put inside the inventory, so as to there is no case of your, I mean, problem occur to providing the raw material in the manufacturing production of the takes place. Then where is the MRP up? Actually, now after knowing the meaning of the MRP, then question to be where we're going to be apply these things. Why would you study and but right now where we're going to be applying it? Obviously, basic concept is that this is the inventory management system in that is the appropriate for the items that have to be dependent demands are there. Means how many raw material, how many spare parts that you have to be manufactured, that you have to be put inside the inventory. So MRP required for the inventory management system. MRP is applicable for the industry that offer a variety of the finished product where the customer allowed to choose among many different options. Because we know that existence of your, let's say, main component, main part of it, if you back to your what is called the silver productions layout, or it is called the group technology layout, in that case, it is a batch concept that you are going to be manufacturing it. So what type of design you have to take? I mean, on the basis of the machine component incident matrix. Because what are the component that to be inserted in a specific product? And that is to be required because the variety of product you have to manufacture. Like, for example, your mobile phone, or take the case of the, I mean, any automobile sector, let's say Maruti. Maruti produces, let's say, for the low segment cars are there, like a Maruti 800. Or let's say inside the 800, there may be the different varieties are there. Like if you take the case of ZXi, BXi, your, I mean, LXi, like that the different things are there. So one is base model, and another part it will be according to the customize of the product, what type of customer do we require on the basis of the I mean changing the requirement, changing the assembling part of the required customer's demand. So MRP is the most appropriate when the manufacturing of the end moment in complex or the uncertain, where there is an uncertain demand. Obviously there is an uncertain demand, you have to make the base in it. Okay, let's say enter into the term different type of hotel industries. Because you have to enter into a hotel, then you have to order what type of dishes that you are going to be required. Then on the basis of that, it will be, I mean, to serve to you people. So that means which it appropriate is not so like your roadside dhaba. It one type of item that it will be manufactured. Then any customer enter into, they have to be consuming the required dishes are there. But if you move to the any star hotels, then in that case, you according to your order, the things are provided to you or things are served to you people. So that means MRP is the most appropriate when the manufacturing of the environment is complex and uncertain, because you don't know what type of customer enter into. On the basis of their requirement, you have to manufacture the product, so to customize your product, right? So in those cases, MRP going to be used as the purpose of this MRP, because you have to control the inventory level. What is our, I mean, lead time, and how much we have to be put inside the safety stock, how much to be reorder time to be there, what is the lead time period, all things have to be controlled, the reorder point, all the things we have to calculate it with the help of the inventory control system. Then assign operations properties. Because priorities basis, we have to provide the, I mean, we are manufacturing the product or customize our product, right? According to the requirement, according to the, I mean, importance basis, what they required, on the basis of that, we have to assign the tasks and producing the things. Then plan capacity to load the production system. Exactly in the same pattern, like we have to assigning the operation proper, I mean, priorities basis, in the same pattern, we have to assign the task to a particular person or the job to a particular machine. That means the production system can be provide some sort of load. The how much load to be provided to which particular task, which particular machine, or which particular person. So first of all, you have to know what is your requirement. On the basis of that, you have to plan for it. These are the purpose of your MRP. Then after knowing the term main purpose of MRP, then come down to the MRP. What are the inputs, MRP inputs? Already you have to be, I mean, right now you have to come after the things. What are the things that we, to required for the MRP, on the basis of the what are the input factors? You already know. I mean, recalling those part. Let's start with it. Master production schedule. That things tells us how much demand, how much spare part to be required, and how to be the component of it. Therefore, the bill of materials we have to calculate. On the basis of the mass production schedule, the bill of material can be judged. And thereafter, you have to know what is the inventory status and what is the lead time. Thereafter, you have to reproduce, I mean, the reorder the points, right? Reorder the next lot of the input factors. Therefore, to know the term inputs, we have to major concept that you have to put in my mind. That means first, what is master production schedule, what is BOM, and what is the inventory status, and what is your lead time. But after knowing the term input factors, come down what are the outputs are there. Output in the sense, in case of a output, what you find the term primary reports are there, or the secondary reports, or the inventory transactions are there. And those output, let's just start primary reports. And these primary reports like your work orders, purchase order, action, I mean to be noted, or the read schedule of the notice. These are the things that is the prime requirement of MRP in case of your output. Work order, purchase order, and the actions noticed, or it be reschedule of the notice. Then what are the secondary report of the output? It is the expectations of report, how much you have to produce, when you have to produce, planning of the reports, in which way are going to be produced, then performance control report, then the product to be produced the things systematic manner or not, so the quality check we have to take into account of the output. Then inventory transactions. After producing the output, it will be moved to the inventory. Then how much there inside already exists inside the inventory right now, what much it be inserting in it, and what is the total inventory, and per day how much should be consumption to be takes place, and how much should be demanded. On the basis of that, you have to maintain our inventory transactions also. These are the two input and outputs of your MRP system. Now, after knowing the term MRP inputs, there existence of one bit what is called the bill of materials. We already discussed the term bill of materials. Till then, we have to once again go through it. A listing of all the raw materials, the parts or sub-assemblies, and the assemblies needed to be produced one unit of the product. Like I say, to manufacturing a particular chair, how many legs are required, how many armrests are required, how many backrests are required, like that. Right. So therefore, we have to list out of what are the different type of raw materials, what are the different type of parts are there, and again how many nails to be utilized, how many screwdriver going to be utilized, all the things, right? Those are the spare parts, sub assemblies, and the assemblies needed to be produced the one unit of product. That is the listing whole part of it. Then bill of materials shows the way of the finished product or I mean your patent items is to be put together from the individual components, because you have to collect all the input factor, all the different type of components to manufacturing a single output. Okay. Then the afferent items shown in the highest level or the level 0. That means the parts that are go into the, patent items are to be called the level 1 component of the productions and so on, which is to be prime item to required. Let for example, to manufacturing the chairs, legs, and legs are the very, very essential because back rate it will be completely assembling with the back legs. The backrest it will be completely assembling with the that is called the back legs. Similarly, the arms are to be rested upon the front leg and the back leg. So that means we have to take into account what are the primary inputs which would be required, right? Then production planners exploit the bill of material to determine the number, due dots are there, or the order dates, and subcomponents of the parts, and so on. Do that way, the production manager can explore all these things, which is to be there inside the BOP. Now, that is the bill of materials, BOM. Then next comes to the master production schedule. What is that master production schedule? As we discussed, it based upon the actual customer order and predicted demand. So, what is the final demand that you're going to be manufactured? That is the way that is called the other way is known as the customer's order. This master production schedule sheet indicates when each order items will be produced in the coming week and in how many quantities, right? When are going to be manufactured and how many amount of the quantity. It is a plan satisfying the timing and the quantity of the productions from each end of items. So master production schedule inputs comes from the sales of and the marketing, and the master production schedule cover about 1 to 3 months into the future. That means why we take the master production schedule which we require to the future component, because we know the last minute demand it will be very costly. So therefore we have to take into account certain time period, to rescheduling the entire process. Then come to the inventory status file. You have to maintaining a file of the inventory. How much is there left? How much did you use per day? What is the lead time and so on. The detailed informations regarding the quantity of each items available in hand in order to release rate for the productions process for the use of the various time periods. MRP system using the inventory master files is to be used to determine the quantity of materials available for use of a given particular period. If the sufficient items are not available, then system includes the items and the planned order release report. Because if it is not available inside the inventory, then when you are already order it and after how many days that it will reach to you, those things are very essential. Also known as the inventory master person. That means, well, we preparing this sort of things, what is there, how much it will be left per day, how much it will consume. Suppose we have to order today, then after how many days it will reach to you, all these things. It will tells us, that report tells us the inventory status file. Then in the output component, there existence already, the primary reports. What is that primary reports? Actually, primary report is consist of these things like a work order, planned order, schedule including the amount and the timing of the future order. Then order release in the sense authorizations for the executions of a planned order. That means you have to ordering it now that it will reach to you people, then you have to accepting that particular order. Then actions notice, actually it is the rescheduling of notice which orders are to be the released or it will be revised or the cancelled during the certain time period. That means we collect some raw material, we collect some order to the different vendor. Then we have to select one to supply their raw material to our inventory. So that means in this case, which order need to be released? Then which order that we have to revise? and which order that we are going to be cancel. All the things have to be maintain a perfect report. These are called as the primary report. Then secondary report, actually this secondary report, it consists of the performance control report. Means performance control report, it means how much, I mean, in which way that particular product will perform. It is up to the expectation or beyond expectation that we have to study. This expectation, I mean, performance control report evaluate the system operations, they aid in manufacturing, I mean, deviations from the plant, and also provide the informations to access the cost performance, obviously, because we required this report, right? That is the performance report. And on the basis of the performance report, you are able to sustain in the market. Planning report. These are useful to forecast the future inventory requirement. That is called the planning report, when we have to order and how much we have to order. Then expectations report. Again, expectation report means in the how much of service, how much of product that we have to be expected from that particular terms. Right. This helps to find out the major discrepancy, such as the at least the overdue the order, or excessive scraps rated, or it be reporting the errors, etc. That means expectation report, in the sense what you have to expect from the sales of the output, or what is the expect from the manufacturing that particular product, or for sending those items to the nearby centers and so on. So this helps in the major discrepancy, because what you say, it may not be that action is not there in that particular report. There may be some deviations are there. That is the expectations report. And MRP process consists of these 4 steps, and those processes will be that means the exploding or the offsetting the production system, then gross and net requirement of the product, and releasing the order. How much required, then you have to release the order. Yes, you have to require this much of thing, kindly submit those things within certain time period. That is the release order. And low level of the coding and netting. These are the things, because while the transportations, we require those sort of things, because all the supply chain process, we have to calculating all these reports are there. When that means if you order today, then when it will reach to you, but we have to track the order. Track those sort of things, we require the low level of coding. Okay. Then come down to the MRP process, right? This MRP process is becomes to the lead time, then exploding the requirement, then offsetting, all of which would be the points which we discussed in the previous. So lead time, in the sense, it is very simple. When you have to order, and after how many days the order is to be reached to you. That means it is the time needed to perform the process. It includes the order, that means preparations, queuing, then processing, that is the moving, receiving, and inspecting the time, as well as any expected delay to that. All these things comes from the lead time. Then exploding the requirement. It is the process of multiplying the requirement by use of the quantity of each items, and recording the the appropriate requirement throughout the product. So that means there is a production tree, like a decision tree. Okay, there is a product tree to be there. Inside the product tree, how many component of each part to be required? That we explain the whole details. Then offsetting means it is the processes of the planning, the process of the, that means the placing and exploding the requirement in there, that be the proper period post on the lead time. Actually, the offsetting, that means we have to remember, offsetting means you have to ordering it after which day you have to, how much you required, and After how many days you have to receiving that particular order, like the lead time is there. And this MRP process is the existence of the gross requirement, mean the expected demand of the product plus how much have to be stored inside the inventory. Net requirement means actually the actual amount divided by each time period. Net means how much it will produce and how much will be there in the inventory. Deducting it, that is your net requirement. I mean the gross requirement minus the availability inside the inventory. That's called the net requirement. Then planned or that is the planned and hand expected inventory on hand on the beginning of each period. The planned on hand in the sense before starting our the manufacturing things, how much of the product inside in our production center. Therefore, it will be gross requirement minus availability of inventory. Planned in hand means the expected inventory on hand at the beginning of the each period. So each prior to the end of the each, I mean, let's the first period completed and next period start. After the starting of the net period, you have to know how much it to be there left over of the previous day, right? The planned order accordingly. Then planned order released, then planned amount to order in each time of the period. This is the even term treated as the planned order release. So planned order receipt means how much you have to plan and how much you have to receiving it. And the planned order means how much you are ordering the concept. Then MRP process, third step is to be releasing the order and schedule report. Releasing the order means that is means authorizations to given to what the necessary materials or to manufacturing of the required component. Similarly, the schedule receipts, the what it express. So schedule it express the orders placed on manufacturing or on vendoring, and that represents a commitment to make the system to be busy. That means in case of a scheduled reporting, what you have to remember, that means it only considering the term what is called the scheduled report. Because the net expected requirement, it can be calculated the gross requirement minus the scheduled receipt of the inventory system. Then comes to the next bit, what is called the MRP process 4. And in this process 4, there is the netting is there, then level, first of all, the netting, then thereafter the low level of the codes, then these things we have to consider this particular slide. So netting in the sense, it is the process in which all the stocks on hand is subscribed from the, that is the gross requirement determined through the explorations, the given the quantity of each items needed to be manufactured for the required finished product. Then come to the level of codes. Actually, what this level of code stands for? Now, it is a part of the resides in all the bills and the materials. So the bill of material, it consists of the low level of code. Then the low level of codes are determined by the stating at the low level of the bill of material and go on. I mean, it may walk up or recording the level against the part. If the parts exist, the higher level, its existence on the lower level is already recorded. This is the MRP process 4 step. And also this 4 step consists of your time bucketing. Time bucketing means the column in an activity is recorded and represents a unit of times. It may be in days or it may be week. Then comes to the next bit, what is called the action bucket. The current the time period to be treated as the action bucket. Then action notice I mean, it is the output from the master production schedule or the material requirement plan or material requirement process, the system identifying the needs of an actions to avoid in the future problems. Then planning horizon. The planning horizon, it to be covered the period like it is the total number of the periods in a particular year, plus the vacations are there that we have to add it to know the planning horizons of the entire schedule. Then what are the benefits of this MRP? The benefits of the MRP consist the keep inventory level to a closest efficient minimum, then keeps the track and inventory. Then come down to the next page, set the safety stocks, set the safety stock level for the emergencies. Then the next bit is to be determine the best lot or the best size of the lot to fulfill the errors. And the latter one, it can take into account the planned future need to the raw materials. And you can also be include the term what is called the setup productions time among the there is a separate manufacturing storage. These are the things actually benefit, which is you know the term what is material requirement planning and how this item will be benefited to MRP system. What are the major drawback of this particular MRP? The major amount of the drawback of the MRP is that the information can results in misplanning because it is the inadequate concept and therefore it will be treated as the misplanning or overstock. Next, we can take the case of your the inaccurate master production schedule will provide the wrong length of the time of the productions and hence offsetting the planning because that is the very essential part of it. Then MRP, actually it is a system that can be costly and manufacturing the consuming or all the time consuming systems are there. It may be costly. On time delivery is very difficult like that. These are the major drawback of your MRP system. Then after knowing the term whole bit of your MRP1, now we have to move to the next concept, what is called the MRP2 or the evaluations of your MRP2. What is that material requirement planning initially MRP1? Here is the manufacturing resource planning. In the MRP1, it is called the material requirement planning. But in MRP2, it is treated as the manufacturing resource planning. How it will be defined? It defined as a method. It is a method of affecting the planning of all the resources of a manufacturing company beyondly. It addresses the operationals or operational planning in the units and the financial planning also within. So this is not exclusively a software, but a combinations of the people and the that is the skill directions to the data based on the accuracy, the computer resources, based on the accuracy, the computer resources, it is the total company management, the concept for using the human resource, which is used, I mean, the more productively in our manufacturing sector. Now, please go through these things. How the manufacturing and the requirement will takes place. And what is that master production schedule? Let's say first start with the master production schedule. And that leads to the, it consists of your MRP and competency mapping. Okay. And thereafter, that is called as the master production schedule or the adjust the master production schedule how it will takes place. Then come down to these are the requirement side. If we moved in the manufacturing side, we take the case of your finance. Okay. That is the market demand. Second, we can take into account the production plan, which considers the manufacturing and the marketing as well as the finance. Then next move to the next step of it after the productions plan. Then come down to the rough cut of the capacity planning. But before proceeding that, adjust the production plan. After adjusting the production plan so that there is no problem of your executing the work. Therefore, in the next that particular step, we don't require any kind of petrol. Then comes to the what is the problem behind it? The problem behind it is if you take the case of the adjust the productions plan, if you find there is no problem, it's okay. There is no problem, means straight we move to the master production schedule, MRP, we have to decide, and the capacity planning we have to take. Then after the capacity planning, we have to it's through the things. Otherwise, if there is a problem, then there is the requirement schedule to be changes. Then after that, your master production schedule once again redefined, and then considering the MRP, we find the solutions part of it. Okay. So the entire MRP system, it considers the finance, marketing, and your, I mean, so let's say the productions or the operations part of it, and how we are to adjusting the things. And that productions plan, it deals with the manufacturing demand, the manufacturing side of it. And your raw material is the procurement component. And here is the output final product, it is the inventory concept. These are the things it be MRP2 where to show with the help of your graphical manner, and how you have to adjust the master production schedule if there is any kind of problem to be takes place. Okay. So after knowing the MRP two, I mean the graphical representation, then what are the module inside this MRP2? It consists of the business planning, purchasing, forecasting, inventory corridor, order entry, and there is the management. Then floors up to be there, or the floor planning. Then so the faster production schedule. After that, we have to take into account the distributions of the requirement of seedling. Then come down to the service requirement of the plan, and thereafter we can take the last bit, what is called the requirement planning, or it is the capacity requirement planning. And the last, the very important terms to be treated as the accounting, because without accounting, nothing to be takes place. Then comes to the what are the basics, benefits from this MRP2. Actually, more efficient use in the as a resources to study the material requirement, reduce inventories, then come down to next bit where the less idle time to be there, idle time to be minimized, and the flowers bottlenecks are there. What is it? There's the there is the priorities planning, better priorities planning, quicker production stats, and the schedule expectability. So these are the benefits that we have to know from the MRP 2. Then improve customer service. This is the another things to study the term. What is the requirement part of your customers? Improved customer service, meet the, daily demand, right? That is the bit it with that. That is called the meet delivery dates are there. Then come down to the improved quality, then low price possibility. Okay, these are the things what I to be show you in the previously, that is the low price possibilities are there always in the MRP1 and the MRP2 is there. Then improved employment morals are there, because moral in the sense the ethically you have to show all the things, right? Therefore you can enhance your moral, thereby the better management informations is there, because it is to be master production schedule followed by the MRP1 and MRP2. Then obviously the smooth flow of work to be takes place, therefore the better management informations also be required there. What is the disadvantages of this? The concept, what is the MRP2? Errors due to the poor information. Obviously, if there is a lack of information regarding the future, let's say you have to consuming certain things imported from the, or let's say outside the state, right? It may be Mayurbhanj, it may be anywhere else. But if you manufacturing the same sort of things here, that cost is more. Then in that case, obviously, to be increased. So the errors due to the poor informations and the use of the averages, because we believing in the averages, all things, how much to order, in which to order, all the things comes under your averages also basis, right? These are the two disadvantages of your material production schedule, or it is called the material production schedule, or the it is called the material requirement planning, or the manufacturing resource planning, right? So this is the basic idea regarding the MRP1, MRP2, okay? But remember the concepts. What is the MRP1 and MRP2? Because that is the sole requirement for the module number 2 or something else. Okay. So this is all about, okay, any questions regarding to this? And thereafter we have to discuss about the questions and so on. Okay, let's just stop my sharing the slides. Okay, please. Anyone? And thereafter we have to share my slides to you people. Okay. Right, today itself, within 20 to 50 minutes, we have to sharing to you people. Hanji, now we have to start reading the questions are there. Let's say, just a minute. Uh, where is, okay, this one is there. All right. Actually, we move to the unit-wise basis. In unit one, the existence of the questions related to the go through the uh, heading of it, and where the question to be there, right? We trigger that part. It is written that the operation planning and control, its functions, operation control information flow, and integrated operating control information system. Okay, you have to remember the most important questions in this particular module is to be operation planning and control, its functions. Right? You just write down its function or underlining it. Okay, that is the OPC and its functions. In the second part, second units, the existence of your forecasting, because you have to remember the numericals are there as such. Beside numericals considering the weighting average, your exponential smoothing, and your trend projections techniques are there. They are the component of your numericals part. And the forecasting, we can segregating the entire part in the two bit. One is the qualitative forecasting technique and quantitative forecasting techniques. So the question asks you what are the different techniques of the forecast. It may be qualitative, it may be quantitative. If it is qualitative, explain the whole concept of the qualitative, like a jury opinion, the expert opinion, Delphi, and so on. Right. In case if you're quantitative, it may be smoothing average, moving average, weighted moving average. It may be smoothing constants are there, then trend projections. Okay, these are the things are there. Okay. And here we can come across some okay, later on to say the short notes. Now move to the next bit, what is called the unit 3. Unit 3, actually here is the capacity planning and aggregate planning. As you know, I show you the things what is called the lead production strategy, lag production strategies are there. Then there is a chest demand, there may be the label strategies are there. And right now, what is the master production schedule? What is the bill of materials? And what is called the MRP2? Those things are to be the unit 3. And the unit 4, it is the scheduling and sequencing in the, in the sequencing only. The sequencing because the scheduling in the fifth unit. Okay, fifth module mein scheduling hai. So therefore, we can take into account the sequencing in this particular module. And here maybe the numericals are there and short question, long questions also there, theoretical questions. What is the meaning of the sequencing and what are the different variety of sequencings are there? The sequencing in case of the single processor, or it may be multiple task single processor, multiple task multiple processors, or multiple task two processor, like that. And there are different techniques like a first come fast, last come fast in, or you can take due date, slacks are there, right? Randomly you can take into account priority services are there, all the things. Gantt chart also be okay. Then in scheduling, actually schedule means how to the loading, how to load the method to the different type of, tax are there or masons are there. So how the schedule to be takes place? It may be assigned. That means all the tax of your Johnson's rule. You have to remember assignment consider the Johnson's rule in which we will be assigning it. Okay, and we take the case of your let the plot techniques also that I mean the row reductions, column reductions, and tracing the horizontal vertical line to cover all the rows like that. So those step by step we have to take all the stochastic mixed products lines are there in which way it will be taken into account. Now moving to the short notes. Short notes MRP2, MRP1, or you can take into account bill of materials, your Boxian approach, or it may be let's say Delphi approach. It may be anything what is called the slack, what do you mean by your shortest processing time, longest processing time, okay, critical ratio. These may be what is the meaning of the sequencing, scheduling, master production schedule, okay. These are the things which comes under your short notes. So the question to be segregated as always, as you know, it will consist of your 12-mark questions are there and 8-mark questions are there and your short notes are there. Okay. So all total there is the 100 marks are there. So any question please. Most next month. Yes, please. Yes, anyone, please ask me the questions. Are you there or not so? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or any other questions or nothing is? If it is not, no such questions are there, let me preparing the, slides to you people, sending to you people. Okay. I think this
Yes,
is the
sir.
okay. This is the last class to you people.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. This is our
Okay
last
then.
class.
ठीक है then. That's all for today. I will be sharing the slide to Priya and Priya will be, transfer to those file to
Sure.
EPUB. Okay then. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.